Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing well, so having a wonderful day. On this 26th March 2025, this is your boy Ink Vendetta. This video is gonna be very special because like the last for the next couple of months you're gonna hear me eat, work out a lot during the videos. We're going through a weight loss kind of journey, weight loss kind of arc, and I want everything documented if you don't mind. So today on the menu we have una pepperoni because this is the last one of the box. Prime bite teriyaki, delicious. Muffin. I know what you're saying, Ink. This is all cool, but why did you talk about Nikocado avocado? I think it's actually pretty funny. We talk about weight loss and make a video about Nikocado avocado. Now, it's funny because last month was heavily focused on so that I had to recap. So we're talking about Shameless, we're talking about One Piece, we're talking about Vikings, right? So all of those shows, all those great shows, were a bit much. You guys remember last year we had a depression, we had a burnout. A part of it was because we weren't even like chilling. Most of the show that we were doing, most of the show that we were watching, I had a video in the background. Planned. So that's that. Now we have to review 3 shows in a one shot, non-stop. So now we're taking a break, and we're consuming a lot more of YouTube. Now, here's why. I'm sorry about the noise. These are the culprits. Here's why this is super special. When you look at it, right, over the last 4 years, because we've been making content for 4 years. The first year I was working, the second year I went crazy. I went crazy with I went crazy with my with the content creation. I wasn't really watching YouTube, and now back with a bit more relaxed video schedule. I watch more YouTube. For example, today we spent an hour and a half on the treadmill watching YouTube. So the nicest thing is we get to watch amazing content by different amazing content creator, right? But it's always a question of finding the next video. So the problem, which is not a third world problem, it's not a handing the world hunger problem. It isn't much of a problem at all. However, it is bothering me is the fact that most of the videos I'm really watching are short-term content. By the way, I prefer long-term content because you get to do a beginning, a end, and a middle, or you really get involved with the story. I've been reading a problem. So I don't know if it's out of nostalgia, but I've been gravitating back and forth between old content creators that I love and new that I do love. So the old one were AGB, rest in peace. However, my issue with AGB, and again, one thing against the men, but there's so much drama, there's so much stuff that is we're not sure if it's true. We're not the whole universe on AGP, and I don't know if it's true. So there is a legacy there. There's a fan here, but there's something I cannot forgive, you know. Or otherwise, another content creator that we love watching, which is McJuggernuggets. McJuggernuggets. What is amazing is you're like, okay, well, he made such an amazing series at such a young age, and then he did it again with Devil Inside. And it's 4 years of his life, to upload per day. Sorry, we're also trying to get the best possible view. Because the other view on the other side is nice. I'm afraid that if I put it there, I'm gonna have the wall, so that's not good. Yes, get higher. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'll have to check something. There you go. Because I need to watch if we were filming the wall or not. So then, the problem with McJuggernuggets is, even though that's amazing, it's about 200 hours times 2. No, divided by 2, that's 100 hours. So I watched that in a week and a half, you know? And then it's the same thing over and over again. So you're looking for content, like for example with Kitboga, who is by far my favorite content creator. By far the person I owe the most to. I have a lot of content creating friends and I love them, and I'm super lucky because I'm well surrounded, but nobody did what Kitboga did to, which is influence me into start making content. Give me the passion to find another venue than just face to face. Ultimately speaking, we ended up making face to face, but at the same time, no. The problem with Kitboga is, once again, Kitboga is, I fucking love that guy, and the content is so enjoyable. But the problem with Kitboga is there's highlights. There's highlights of 30 minutes and 40 minutes. You have this, or you have longer form of content, which is 9 hours. So the 9 hours when I was working, it was perfect. The 9 hours when I'm working out is perfect. The 9 hours when I'm live is perfect. Now, the problem with that is I am not working. I'm working possibly 4 hours here, there. I'm on call at the temp agency, which sucks. Or I'm working out, and that's an hour and a half. So I'm seeing it very fragmented, and it's really hard to see. So I have to choose multiple videos of 30 minutes, which are great, but I know how talented the guy is, so I'm missing out. So why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this is because, in my mind, I think the most complete content creator. Now, ultimately speaking, I do not know every single content creator. I've been really getting into GMM, and GMM, in my eyes, is possibly the OG YouTuber that I play the most. They're possibly the people that have the most experience, that most know how. And I'm just in love with GMM. GMM is such a clever recipe. You got two characters, you got two people that are completely different. They're completely different, and ultimately speaking, it's nice because you got the duality, you got the conflict between those two people. They're so different, but at the end, they're the same guy because they're working for the same company and they're best friends, so they agree all the time, right? But the problem with GMM is it does feel at time very corporate. So, for example, they'll do. There's time where, and I love GMM, but there's time where I feel like they'll sit down and they have the entire video planned out. They're not editing. They're not filming. So it is very familial when it comes to the employees, but it's still corporate feeling. And I think as a content creator, I'm gonna be selfish and say, I am looking for, when I make content, I'm looking for content that I'm able to relate to, reproduce. Not because I want to reproduce it, but because I'm like, oh yeah, this is a cool way of doing things. Oh yeah, this is a good idea, right? But that being said, the reason why we're going back to Nikocado Avocado every single time is Nikocado Avocado is possibly, in my mind, one of the best content creator out there, and has been for so freaking long now. There is a very specific reason, which is gonna be very vain, very narcissistic. I do believe that Nikocado has some sort of, I don't know, I am thinking ADHD, because the thing with Nikocado Avocado is he did 5 years, well, more than 5 years, but I count 5 years because I only count the mukbang stuff. So we're talking about 5 years. We're talking about 1 to 2 videos a day. So we're talking about a minimum of 1,500 times 5, that's 7,500. Talking about a minimum of 8,000 videos that are anywhere between 2 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours to 3 hours for some videos. And what is kind of cool is, for example, right? So somebody like Kitboga, which I fucking love, narratively speaking, has had a very so Kid Boga, for example, he does another hour's video, right? Now you're not really gonna remember. You're not really gonna remember the video in itself, but you're gonna remember the plot. You're gonna remember the problem and the solution, right? This is your narrative blackboard. So the my interest with Nikocado Avocado is, and again, I have a tendency to put very weird title or very precise title, and he will just write down mukbang X. Or write down McDonald mukbang. Now the funny thing with Nikocado is, if you type Nikocado Avocado and you write down mukbang McDonald mukbang, there's about 8 of those, and like what the fuck, the dude has 8 of the same name videos, and they're a completely different subject. But also the fact that Nikocado, to me, it's such a clever thing. Nikocado was also not super cooperated. He had a PR team. He had people behind him, but it still felt very homely, very homemade video. Just a dude in front of the camera talking, like we're doing now, right? There's also the feeling that I have a very huge admiration for somebody who is a master of the craft. I'm gonna be looking, and I know I'm gonna go far with the comparison, but I'm gonna be looking at a show like Breaking Bad. I'm gonna be looking at a show like The Sopranos, who is a very small show. We're seeing shows that are lasting and lasting and lasting and lasting and lasting and lasting until you're like, whoa, it's not like it used to be. It was better before. And we're seeing Ricardo that after 5 years was like, I'm done. So we're seeing the beginning of an end, and we're seeing the transformation physically, emotionally, mentally of the guy. We're seeing a very optimistic guy, and at the end a very pessimistic guy. We're seeing a very positive person becoming slowly and slowly corrupted by public opinion, corrupted by the haters, corrupted by people messing with him, I guess. And it's a telltale of a lot of people. And it's also nice because it's a telltale of a whole career in 5 years. You know, I was talking about GMM, and I love GMM, but they've been making videos since 2006, which was the birth year of YouTube. And although I applaud that, it's really hard to say, okay, well, GMM, there's a beginning and an end. You see, I was talking about arcs yesterday, and right now we're doing a weight loss arc, and it was a beautiful thing because I can kind of picture like with Nikocado arcs. So for example, the pre vegan, the after vegan, the pre Stephanie So, the after Stephanie So, the hate bait content, to the final where he lost all the weight, right? And it's a beautiful thing because Nikocado, and I don't know if it's damaging to the legacy that he lost all the weight, but it's also a picture perfect of, was this all a dream? Even when you look at my favorite movie ever, Fight Club. Fight Club is about a dude who thinks that his best friend is crazy, but ends up being the crazy best friend. The one and the same person. So Nikocado, you're like, holy shit, what is really real? What is not real, right? Question everything, and you look at reality TV, and you're like, what is real? And it's actually a picture perfect of society, right? Nikocado, who also is very theatrical. One, two, is very very smart also. Not in the sense of I know what the exact number of pi and I know every single number of pi, but more so in a way of I know how society will react, and I'll use that to my advantage. So I thought that was super good. There's a bit of manipulation, but also is he make himself a villain. So that was a really nice thing. I'm getting more interest in WWE. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, WWE is fake. Fine, it is fake. But some of those scripts are amazing. Those scripts are amazing. We're seeing one of the best show right now. The most popular show right now is Local Life. And it's just facing backlash for being scripted, right? So with Nikocado, it was like one person, and I think that's also what I loved about McJuggernuggets. The fact that he was alone and he was a kid and he was able to make videos, and of course he was editing, but he was still a kid, you know. So yeah, so Nikocado Avocado, and it's also the fact that I can laugh with that guy, I can think about with that guy. There's also the fact that I'm gonna be watching an hour video. I'm going to be watching it 2 or 3 times, and I'm still not sure what he's talking about. And I think this is something I'm highly relating to. I think with the my content in itself. I think there's a lot of time where I'm starting with a subject, but I'm ending on another subject, and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? But then these are amazing videos to watch. There's an amazing video to see, because there's a fine line between incomprehensible and thoughtful, and this the very thin line is, did I understand the video, or was he just talking gibberish? And I believe that in a lot of videos I talk gibberish, but I also believe that there's time where what I'm talking about makes sense, but you just have to think about outside the box. So really relate to that, and also the reason as to that is because, see, there's so many content creator, so the market is oversaturated. The market is really hard to get into. Everybody and their brother wants to be a content creator, and it's just a scene where there's almost more content creator than content watcher. Also, little side note, but you think about the places like OnlyFans. OnlyFans, the attraction of OnlyFans was, okay, well, you got your girl next door winds up being a porn star, right? But then it's like, okay, well, the girl next door, but my neighbor on the top floor, my neighbor down below, there's 10 people in my building who do OnlyFans, and it's just an oversaturated market. So there is that. Also, there is a very fascinating effect that is the second generation. So you look at people like GMM, you look at people like Epic Mealtime, you look at people like PewDiePie, you looking at people like OG YouTuber, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Now you're looking at a person like Kai Cenat, who watched YouTube growing up and actually has an idea of how it works. And you're like, okay, well, guess what? I'm gonna be focusing on learning from them, and almost going to a school, online school of social media, and I'm gonna become successful. Now, was the knowledge enough? No. The guy is charismatic, the guy is funny, the guy has really good connection. But again, when I'm watching Kai Cenat, and I love Kai Cenat, it does feel like sometimes there's a whole business behind it, and it takes away from the person itself, right? And I think that's problematic. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.